MMORPGs are without a doubt the most time-consuming type of games. They're basically digital black holes, and finding a good one that really respects you kinda drives you nuts. Considering that, if you've actually been on the hunt for something neat, here are 30 of those MMORPGs on Android and iOS that are not joking around. Starting off new, number 1, we have Aion 2, which is just shaping up to be one of the most ambitious MMORPG launches in year. In fact, if MMORPGs were like rock concerts, Aion 2 would like be Pink Floyd's Pulse. It's like built on Unreal Engine 5, it delivers a world 36 times larger than the original game with like unrestricted flights, swimming and exploration everywhere you look. And yes, of course, monetization's kinda heavy, it's NCSoft, Korean developers, but what do you expect? If you just want that endless fantasy grind, I gotta say Aion 2 delivers in pretty much spades. You get 8 different classes, action-driven, tap target combat, and over 200 dungeons. In fact, developers are adding even more. Aion 2 has been packed with content from day one. In short, it just feels like NCSoft swinging for the MMO crown once again. Now look guys, with that being said, Wuthering Waves is basically what happens when an action RPG decides it's tired of being mobile and kind of starts acting like a full-on console game. The thing is, first of all, the movement pacing alone in this game feels illegal, and let alone the recent cyberbike handling. It's like if someone mashed Genshin, Devil May Cry, and a trampoline together. The combat is super snappy, it actually rewards thinking instead of just button mashing. Exploring is worthwhile even if the fighting gets repetitive at some point. The story is a bit of a bland, not that much of that, but the visuals, music, and team building carry the whole thing super hard. And most importantly, free players can actually cook, which is basically the most important angle. It even supports controllers like a real game. Final Fantasy XIV Mobile is now live, but only in China for now. I mean, it's been a while, almost 7 months, and after years of anticipation, Square Enix's mobile version of the beloved MMO is still in China. Good thing, however, is it's given fans a first real look at the world itself on phones. It's got mobile-friendly features like auto-pathing, exceeding the PC version's limits, character creation, familiar faces, and a strong battle system. All hinting it's gonna be much bigger once it hits a global version. Blue Protocol finally went over the C region, and on top of that, there is now new rewards that help you settle before the grind introduces itself if you're new to it. If you just miss the original hype cycle with this game, it's just a clean entry point right over here. And keep in mind, if you've ever installed an MMO, knowing all well that it might not respect your time, or you might not respect your time technically, this is that one moment again. Basically, your anime dream come to life. Like if someone stuffed your favorite Japanese RPGs and MMO and a fashion simulator into a giant world. Guilds, housing, events. It's an MMO playground where like being your anime self actually feels rewarding. Do At Night Abyss may have actually delayed its Steam launch. For those of you who didn't really have that much of a strong phone, but the excitement hasn't dimmed down one bit, specifically on mobile, and especially with the arrival of Christmas. New heroes, new content, events, challenges, just do yourself a favor, hop back in before it's too late. The game itself though is already complete, with the team fully focused on stability, performance, and platform compliance, and rather than just rushing it out on PC, Pan Studio is choosing quality first, promising it'll launch free of major issues. Besides that, on mobile this game is borderline overkill. Alright, this has actually been out for almost a week and we haven't talked about it yet. Of course, if you missed it, Phantom Tale is basically a MMORPG for people who just want all the fun parts. Adventuring, boss fights, cute outfits and whatnot without needing a spare lifetime to grind. It's a pretty bright game, it's friendly, and the combat actually feels good thanks to the quick weapon switching system that keeps fights from turning into button mashing. Real charms though the social side. Guilds, alliances, player trading, housing, and enough cosmetic drip to get bankrupt with. It's casual in just the best direction. Log in, vibe, repeat. If you want a laid-back MMO that just doesn't treat you as casual like a hostage, Phantom Tale it is. It's a 2GB game in total. We've actually been a bit unfair with this game. Crystal of Atlan is the kind of game you'd expect to sweep you off your feet, and it really does. For a while. You see, the combat's just the greatest, classes are fun to experiment with, and the mix of magic and machines gives the world a pretty cool, distinct vibe compared to most of its kind. It's pretty ambitious, stylish, clearly built with love, it kinda struggles to fully break free from its own limits, this game. That being said, however, it's good even if you don't have any hope for an anime RPG or an anime game in general. Be careful with this one, really. Coming in at number 8, it's of course Where Winds Meet, and here's what you should probably play it. If you can find about 40 gigabytes of space on your phone, it's basically Red Dead Redemption with a Chinese cosplay this game. And it's free to play, so why not? Like a massive open world, enough freedom to make your head spin, you can sword fight, jump on walls, glide over water, like walk around doing nothing or just become a merchant. Story choices actually matter, visuals are insane, crossplay and progression's awesome, most importantly, free to play without being pay to win. Basically, it's a whole pocket-sized, high-budget martial arts with just a few gameplay downsides.
To your first deep dive into Ungodly, launching in early 2026.
Coming up behind that at number 9, it is Ungodly. Kind of think like someone finally said, what if a gacha RPG were all sunshine and anime and like a full juggernaut? This game is coming from the same team that made Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes, so obviously they know something. It's built by someone who actually understands mobile games. It's Genshin Impact kind of, but grimier, bloodier, and with like less bubblegum magic. You get to switch between characters in the middle of combat, chain attacks, get into some deep, tragic backstories through its affinity system. Basically, it's Dark Souls with a lot of soul. Console tier craftsmanship right in your pocket.
The Book of Stars disrupted the flow of time.
The 7 Deadly Sins origin finally locked in a release date, and it's coming out December 31st. And if you cannot really wait for a taste of the action, there's a beta testing on its official website, which I've embedded the links down in the description. And you know, all you have to do is just enter your email and it's just going to be unlocked. This whole test is going to get you a big, hefty amount of, the game mechanics, open world, the characters, a lot more. 7 Deadly Sins origin, also if you're unfamiliar with somehow as like Genshin Impact, finally went to the gym and got a proper story. And the world's massive, it's gorgeous, just stuffed with side quests and a linear pace if you want it, and it's free to play as well. Over 1 million people have already pre-registered for it. One problem, the game is about 17 gigabytes in total. Now on another angle, we've got the classless medieval MMO, Albion Online, which is actually built for cross-platform play, and it really shows it. Honestly, the game is just clean, but very mobile leaning. Simple art, limited characters, though the world scale and gathering feel satisfying. Gameplay is heavily grind-focused, replacing levels with tier progression that quickly becomes stale and repetitive. PvP, I would say, is the core attraction with the game, and on the plus side, it's pretty easy to learn, crafting-driven, and fairly polished for a mobile-first MMO. But with that being said, number 12 we have the game Esthspire, which just dropped another big update, basically saying, yeah, we are an indie MMO developer and we're actually hitting all AAA developers straight from the pack. It's got a new archer class, a desert region for the next portion of the main story, more inventory space, cheaper skill resets and smarter drop systems that make it feel like less like a punishment, more like a video game. There's also a Christmas event, obviously, and in addition, there are some major improvements for free-to-play players. Why not? At number 13, we're gonna go ahead and spotlight Black Desert Mobile, with like millions of players already hooked. This game feels like one of those that just blows you right away at first glance. I mean, once you start playing the game. Then it slowly reminds you that it's still a mobile MMO at its heart. Pretty stunning, no doubt, with some of the best character creations you'll ever see on a phone. The story is all over the place, however, and the gameplay, while smooth and pretty flashy, pretty much leans heavily on auto features that drain of fun if you let them. Still, jam-packed with content, dungeon, side activities, and if you're straight going for this one, there's a Christmas event going on right now for good measure. On another hand, we have the game Diablo Immortal, as it just hit a whole new level with the First and Last King updates. Harder battles, massive bosses, wild zones and make every fight feel legendary. The action's always been non-stop smash and enemy swarm from all sides. Mobile players now get fresh challenges to push skills to the limit, plus a crossover twist from another iconic universe, adding some unique rewards and surprises here and there. So whether you're grinding solo or co-op, this new update cranks the intensity high sky. Stunning, intense, new content make it one of the biggest updates in recent memory for the game.
Earn massive rewards, including exclusive skins and up to 330 avatar summon tickets.
Lord Knight, on the other hand, is basically the RPG equivalent, and I've said it before, of giving a kid the keys to a candy store, realizing that the kid is pretty much yourself. There's over 60 classes to swap mid-game instantly in a dazzling just a mix of heroes, tags, and abilities, in a world that somehow manages to be chaotic but still makes sense. It's got PvP, of course, PvE, guilds, raids, and a blockchain twist if you're feeling fancy. It's like they stuffed every RPG mechanic you've ever wanted into one game and then asked you to just juggle with it. Surprisingly addictive for AFK play as well. It's flashy, it is flexible, and kind of brilliant, even if it'll just eat your free time while you're alive. Persona 5 The Phantom X is just finally dropped worldwide, wherever you are. And it somehow manages to cram that whole Persona vibe, teenage angst, metaphysical mayhem, and jazz, voodoo, and all that into your phone without exploding it. It's a pretty stylish and moody game in nature, and it actually feels like a Persona game, which is pretty good on mobile. It's gacha, but not the kind that makes you remortgage your house. The polls are fair, and you can play for free just fine. The story starts slow, like every other Persona game, of course, but the tone is super spot on. And it's all just drenched in that old Tokyo coolness vibe you're pretty much never gonna see for yourself, unless you're going to Japan. Oh yeah, Bleach is in the list too. Why not? I mean, it's single-handedly the mother of action RPGs that hit mobile this whole year. Probably the best Bleach game ever made, not only on phones, period. It's rich in content, endgame cutscenes are great, the action's just mind-blowingly good, and for a gacha game, it's pretty generous. Stunning graphics, really, story, models, voice acting, and the combat all seems polished and has high quality. If you're a fan of the Bleach series, this will definitely hit your expectations. It even captures the essence of the Bleach very well. 10 out of 10, highly recommended if you like action RPGs, you're gonna have a blast. Sword of Justice is that rare MMO that just comes once in a while acting like it actually respects you. No classes, no pay-to-win nonsense, just you, your build, and just a bunch of NPCs who remember everything you do. You help a merchant, get a discount. You cause trouble, guards swing first. The combat also leans more New World than World of Warcraft, like there's parties, timing, and actual skill instead of hotbar piano, and the world feels like a painted scroll that just decided to go full kung fu. I'm gonna be honest with you, the customization in the game is just something out of the world, because we've seen nothing like it ever. It's possibly the most diverse character customization option you've ever seen in a video game ever on any platform. Not to mention it is a cross-platform support, and for a free MMO on mobile, it's just shockingly legitimate. RolePlay 2 has been around for a couple of rough months, and it's finally kind of where we needed to be in the first place, hitting all the nostalgia buttons for classic RNG fans now. The world looks amazing, with graphics and effects that, casually make you stop and stare. Combat's pretty solid, PvP is super fun, from one-on-one duels to huge open world battles, all good, and teamwork. We're not really sure if it's the kind of action RPG for all of you to recommend it, but we're sure it is the endless leveling kind where you can sink hours into without even noticing.
And arming yourselves with scalpels of great stability.
Up at number 20, we have the game Destiny Rising, rolling out a ton of seasonal goodies. Bringing snowball, fight mode, winter cosmetics, fireworks, a handful of holiday minigames to keep it fresh. Alongside that, actually, NetEase has released a 2026 roadmap testing on a new destination. More story, more content, a tower defense mode, and most importantly, a rework of the Pinnacle energy system that, addresses some long-standing player concerns. It's a pretty smart mix of holiday fun now and course correction for the long run. Go right ahead and dig it if you can handle the size. Blade and Soul Heroes, with that being said, is basically a love letter to fans and just a perfect entry point for also newcomers. So the game itself is set 3 years before the original. It kinda dives deep into iconic characters, your backstories through playable story chapters called Chronicles, and it's all wrapped in a stunning cel-shaded art style. A more relaxed yet strategic combat system and pace as well. There's over 40 playable characters, constant post-launch content plan, and a genuinely free-to-play friendly approach. If you love Blade and Soul's world but want something fresh, Heroes over here might be its smartest evolution yet.
Plans with you. Even in fiery Muspelheim, Christmas has arrived.
Odin Valhalla Rising has actually been out globally for a good few months in English, and it's a absolute monster of an MMO. A Norse-themed epic that is just fully playable on mobile and PC with seamless crossplay, a massive open world, and 0 loading screens. The visuals are stunning, easily one of the best you're gonna see on mobile, though fair warning, it's a hefty 30 gigabytes download. The global version looks even better, runs smoother. Right now we can grab a free legendary mount just for starting, so I don't know, MMO fans, this one's kinda mandatory. Well, the game on Iroh has been around for a while now, and it's been one of the most fun to play RPGs on the platform. And for a free game, it's just unfair to its developers. It's like a mix of Diablo and Monster Hunter, but with even smoother combat at times. Plus, the combat's Souls-like, with hints of Hades. On top of all that, look, it's playable offline. I mean, how's that for an RPG? You can mix your own skills, make it tanky frontliner, a cannon, or something even wilder. And the most interesting thing is that loot actually changes how you play, so you actually get the benefit of your well-playing. It's the kind of game you go in blindly and end up coming out blind, if you do come out alive. Being in early access for over half a year and a soft launch for a couple of months, Sunday City is finally out on Android, and it's definitely got some improvements. First of all, for those of you who missed it, it's a life sim, low poly open world social game like the sim games, except you've got actual freedom. Maybe the other game, Second Life, would have been a better example, but I don't like that game. You're here to create a virtual life and build a business empire, I don't know, own a pet, make decisions, participate in competitive actions and stuff. It's that kind of game. It's free, about 2 gigabytes in size, and plays online. Cyberpunk is basically the Cyberpunk 2077 mobile port that you've been wanting to play on the go. An MMO, like a city where gangs, hackers, and future tech collide, and suddenly everything's a potential mission or a high-speed chasing scene. You get different guns, bats, laser swords, and cyber implants that make you borderline unstoppable, but timing and strategy still matter as well. Beyond the fighting, there is car customization, apartment upgrades, and the city is just full of NPCs and players to interact with. It's MMO, pretty flashy by itself. It's got a great synthwave soundtrack. In fact, Cyberpunk is somewhere a survival and an action RPG in the scale of a MMO. Well, going down to number 26, it's a upcoming Mongrel Stardive. Now, first of all, this game is not entirely up and coming because it just went through its beta. It is definitely one of the better action RPGs we clearly had no clue was around since a month ago, and it's definitely Netmarble's midlife crisis of a video game, except instead of buying something stupid, they built this whole anime game out of Unreal Engine 5 and filled it with monsters. One could almost say it's the comeback of a decade-old franchise that most people outside Korea probably don't even know existed. But this time it's now fully voiced, global, and absurdly pretty. Pre-register the game is coming out fully January next year. Number 27, 28, 29, and 30 are all bonuses. Take a quick look.